What do you think of when you hear the name Emma Watson? Because I think of books. Emma Watson is of course known for her roles as Hermione Granger and Belle from Beauty and the Beast, which are two of the most bookworm characters in history. So it was only fitting that a real life bookworm would portray them, which is Emma Watson. Emma Watson has had a book club for years. She's been recommending books for over a decade now, so I wanted to know how good are her book recommendations. And today we're finding that out. I've read 4 of the books that she's recommended over the years to see what her taste in books is like and if she gives good recommendations. So let's get started. I started off by reading one of the books Emma Watson has said is her favorite book of all time. So my expectations were high for this one. It's The Shadow of the Wind. This is a very famous book, so it didn't surprise me that she read it, but when I read that this was one of her all-time favorites, I got intrigued. I just needed to know what it was about and why she liked it so much. So this year I picked up The Shadow of the Wind and I got to experience what an amazing book it is. When I first started reading it, I couldn't put it down. It's so captivating and interesting and magical. The first pages definitely remind me of Harry Potter. The book starts off in a magic library where books are being protected, and our main character Daniel finds the Shadow of the Wind. Now he reads the book and he falls in love with the book and then realizes that this might be the only copy left, because when he starts to look for the author and other books that he's written, he cannot find anything. So this is where the mystery, the intrigue starts. Daniel makes it his life mission to find out more about this author and what happened to his works. And the story turns out to be much more complicated than Daniel could have ever imagined. He starts talking to people who might have known the author, and it turns out a lot of people have secrets. So this book is a really great mystery. I really enjoyed reading it, especially for book lovers. This is an amazing book because it is about protecting books and writing and the love of writing books. So I definitely understand why Emma Watson recommends this. It did surprise me that Emma Watson recommended this because she usually recommends feminist literature, and this is definitely not a feminist book. One of the critiques I had was that it's quite unfair to the female characters. So it did surprise me to see this on her recommendations list. But other than that, the book is amazing. I would definitely recommend that you read it. And I cannot wait to read the other books in this series. So we're off to a good start with this one. This book, I think, got 4 or 5 stars from me. So I definitely see why she recommended it, and I agree. Then the next book that I read from her recommendations was Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. She actually portrayed a character in the movie adaptation, and I felt like she did an amazing job. I believe she read the book and then she fell in love with the story and agreed to portray a character in the movie. And then of course she also recommended the book to people, and I'm very happy that I read this book. It's so sad. I hardly ever cry at books, but this one, I cried, I bawled my eyes out. It's such a sad book. This book is about Charlie, and we read his letters from his diary, so we get a very intimate look into his life, and he has quite a difficult life. He doesn't feel like he fits in anywhere. It's definitely a coming of age story, so it's all about these pains of growing up and finding your people and dealing with childhood trauma. That's what this book is about. I felt like it was beautifully done. As a psychology student, I'm always very critical of mental health portrayal in books and movies, but I felt like this was done very beautifully. It doesn't sugarcoat anything. Charlie definitely has a very difficult relationship with his friends, his family, but also himself, and I felt like that was done very well. The book definitely has a heavy ending, so I would definitely check trigger warnings if you're planning to read it, but otherwise I would really recommend it. So we're 2 for 2. Emma Watson is doing very well with the book recommendations, but let's move on to book number 3. I read Persepolis by Satrapi. This is a story about the Iranian war, about political conflicts, and also about female rights. This is a non-fiction written by a woman who has lived in Iran, moved to Switzerland, and then moved back to Iran. So she has seen the country change over the years. She's seen the war, but she's also seen how it is to live in other countries. This is a comic book form, but don't let that fool you because it's a very difficult and painful story. It says on the back, this is a beautiful and intimate story full of tragedy and humor, raw, honest, and incredibly illuminating, which I totally agree with. This is a nonfiction, this is someone's life, and I'm very, very happy that she decided to write this book. I am just very, very grateful that she's decided to write down her story. I think it's so valuable that we can read other people's stories through books. I believe this has also been made, oh yeah, now a major motion picture, so you can also watch this if you don't want to read the book. This is a very inspiring story, but also very difficult and also very relevant, because female rights are still getting smaller and smaller every day in some countries. So I feel like it's very important to read this. I'm just so grateful that I got to get a glimpse of her life through this book and that she decided to write this all down. So I would definitely recommend that you read this. I learned so much from reading this book. This definitely falls under the feminist literature category that Emma Watson is quite known for. This is definitely a book about feminism, and I feel like it's such a good book if you want to learn more about feminism or about this woman's life. I would definitely recommend that you read it. Then for the fourth book of Emma Watson's book recommendations, I read a book that actually went viral on BookTok this year. I've seen it all over my Instagram, all over YouTube. So when I saw that Emma Watson recommended this, I just knew I was going to pick it up. It's Just Kids by Patti Smith. Now this again is a feminist book, a non-fiction, so you kind of see what genres Emma Watson loves to read. I'm going to be honest, this book changed my life. I don't easily say that about books, but this book was life-changing. I learned so much about art and writing and just Patti Smith's life. I cannot wait to read more of Patti Smith's books. I think they're so honest and they give you such an honest view into her life and what it's like to be an artist in New York, to be struggling with friends and relationships and your work and your passion and your creativity all at the same time. As someone in her 20s trying to figure everything out, this book is just perfect, and I would definitely recommend that you read it as well. This book is about Patti Smith's life in New York, living as a struggling artist with her best friend and partner Robert. This is a kind of ode to Robert because he unfortunately passed away. So she's talking about how she got to know him, what she knew about him, and the life she shared with him, while also trying to figure out her own life and her own creativity and work. I think it's so inspiring. I think it's beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. I think it was definitely the perfect time for me to read this. I learned so much from it. At the time when I was reading it, I definitely enjoyed it, but afterwards I just could not stop thinking about it. So I'm definitely going to be rereading this at some point. This is one of the best books that I read this year, and I'm very happy that I did. So I would also highly recommend this one, which makes it 4 for 4. We have 4 book recommendations that were amazing. She really knocked it out of the park. These books are all so unique and inspiring and beautiful, each in their own way. And I'm very happy that I read each and every one of them. I would definitely recommend all of them to you. And I'm very interested to see what other books she recommends, because she's been recommending books for, as I said, over a decade. So I cannot wait to read more of her book recommendations. So to answer the question, does Emma Watson give good book recommendations? For me personally, I would say yes. I really enjoyed all of the books that I read from her recommendations, and I'm very interested in reading more of them. I think each book is so unique in their own way, and I learned so much from them. So for me personally, yes, but let me know what you thought of these books and if you agree, and I'll see you in the next video.